In this video, you will learn how to get started with DBT. We will begin with a brief introduction to what DBT is, followed by a step-by-step demo to help you install DBT and start a new project. In the demo, we will start by creating a Python virtual environment, install the necessary DBT modules, then initialize our DBT project. So first, what is DBT? DBT, which stands for Data Build Tool, is a data transformation tool that helps you clean and organize raw data into a more useful format. There are two versions of DBT: DBT Core, the open source CLI version, and DBT Cloud, a paid web-based version with additional features like a user-friendly interface and team collaboration tools. In this video, we will focus on DBT Core. To get a better understanding of what DBT is used for, imagine you are running an online store. You have a table in your data warehouse called raw transactions that stores all your sales data. This table is messy with duplicate records, inconsistent formats, and disorganized information about customers, products, and sales all in one table. Querying and analyzing this data is challenging. With DBT, you can clean and transform this raw data into a more organized format. For example, start by removing duplicates and standardizing formats. This process can result in a new table called Clean Transactions. Then, use DBT to aggregate the data, creating another table called Daily Sales. So basically, DBT transforms your raw data into clean, organized tables and views within your data warehouse. We will explore the details of how it does that in future videos, but in simple terms, it involves writing SQL queries in .SQL files. These queries select data from your raw tables, apply transformations, and create clean, more useful tables in your data warehouse. Now that we understand what DBT is used for, let's dive into the demo to learn how to get started with DBT Core. Step 1. Create a Python virtual environment. DBT Core and its plugins are Python modules that you can install using pip. Before installing them, it's best to create a Python virtual environment. Open your terminal and navigate to the location where you want to create your environment. I will use the desktop. To create a virtual environment, use the command python-m venv followed by the name of the environment. I will name mine DBT projects. For Mac users, replace Python with Python 3. After creating the virtual environment, we need to activate it. To do that, navigate to the environment folder, and if you are on Windows, run scripts/activate. If you are on Mac, run source bin/activate. Next, we need to install DBT Core and the DBT plugin for the data warehouse that we will be using. DBT supports multiple data platforms, including AlloyDB, Apache Spark, Athena, Azure Synapse, BigQuery, Databricks, and more. I will put the link to this documentation in the description. In this video, I will be using BigQuery. So to work with DBT, I need to install DBT Core and DBT BigQuery, which is the BigQuery plugin. To check the installation, run the command dbt-version. As we can see, our two modules are installed and up to date. Alright, now we have our virtual environment and our DBT modules installed. We are ready to initialize our project. Initializing a DBT project sets up the basic structure and files you will need to start using DBT. And it's done through one simple command, which is dbt init followed by the project name. But before that, we need to authenticate with Google Cloud because we will be using BigQuery as our data warehouse, and we need to be authenticated in order to set up the database connection. To authenticate with Google Cloud, we use the command gcloudauth application default login. This will open a browser where you can select your Google account and allow access. Once authenticated, use the command DBT init followed by the project name to initialize the project. I will call mine first project. During initialization, we need to specify some parameters. First, the database. We choose BigQuery in our case. We don't have other options because we only installed the BigQuery plugin. The authentication method. We will use OAuth, which uses your user accounts. But you can also use a service account if you want. We also need to specify the GCP project ID and the name of the dataset where your DBT models will be stored. The number of threads. Threads refer to the maximum number of models that DBT can build at the same time. Increasing the number of threads can minimize the runtime of your project, but for now I will choose only one thread. Job execution timeouts. I will keep the default of 300 seconds. Location. I will choose US. Finally, to validate the connection, run the command dbt debug. As we can see, I have error not found. It couldn't find this file named dbtprojects.yaml. And as we can see here, it's looking for it inside dbt projects folder. It's normal that it didn't find it because this YAML file is actually located inside the project folder. So I need to move inside the project folder before running the command dbt debug. I will change directory to first project and run the command again. Alright, as we can see now, everything is green. We are good to go. So to recap, in this video, we've covered what DBT is, how to install it, and how to initialize a DBT project using BigQuery. In upcoming videos, we will dive deeper into the structure of a DBT project and explore its components, including models, macros, seeds, tests, documentation, and more.